Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am Samina Sabda. I hope that you all are fine with good health. I am reading the previous concepts of curriculum design and instruction discussed before in the previous classrooms. Today the topic I will discuss today is the foundation of curriculum. So let's have a look on the foundations of curriculum. You can see here that these are major foundations of curriculum. You can see the three foundations of curriculum. The first one is philosophical foundation of curriculum. The second one is psychological foundation of curriculum. And the third one is sociological foundations of curriculum. These curriculum foundations are basically the forces that influence and shape the content and organization of the curriculum. These foundations also influence the philosophies of those persons working or developing the curriculum, and these philosophies are in turn reflected in the curriculum. So basically these all foundations provide the basis for the curriculum developers for developing the curriculum for any grade level. So let's have a look on the first foundation of curriculum, that is philosophical foundation of curriculum. But before proceeding to the detail of the philosophical foundation of curriculum, I would like to recall the previous concepts of philosophy you have studied in your first semester with the title of Foundations of Education, in which you studied the different philosophies such as Perennialism, Essentialism, Progressivism, and Reconstructionism. So firstly, we will recall the meaning of philosophy. Philosophy is basically the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge. It is the study of realities and general principles. It is also concerned with the research of eternal truths. So if we examine or analyze it on the whole, you can say that every society is held together by a common faith or philosophy which serves its members as a guide for living a good life. It is therefore quite natural for the adults of the society to pass on this philosophy or knowledge of good to their children. Uh, you can take the example of primitive society where the knowledge of good life was passed on informally, like from father to son and from mother to daughter. But now in developing and developed countries or societies, schools have been established for the better functioning of this purpose. This way, the curriculum helps the young ones to be transformed in a good learners or a good citizen or a good person or good human being. You can also remember here the philosophical categories here, which were the ontology, concerned with the reality, with the concept of reality, epistemology, concerned with the nature of knowledge, and the axiology, the concept of values, the concept of good or bad. Ontology, if you can take the example of ontology, so being a Muslim, what is our ontology? What is our reality? Because we believe in one God, we believe on prophets, and we also believe on the day of judgment. But if you see the European countries or the secular countries, this concept doesn't exist because they have their own philosophy about the God, about the universe, or about the self, and about the other things. They only believe on those things which are observable to them because they perceive that this is the ultimate reality for them. But for us as a Muslim, we have our own philosophy of reality. Then the second branch of philosophy was epistemology, which was concerned with the nature of knowledge. What type of knowledge is most worthful, most worthwhile, and what is the source of that knowledge? Like as a Muslim, we believe that revelation is a source of knowledge for us. and this is our ultimate knowledge. It is the authentic knowledge. And the third one is axiology, which is totally concerned with the concept of good and bad. What is good, what is bad, from our religious point of view or from societal or our contextual point of view. In European countries, if they take beer or wine, it is acceptable or desirable in the society or from the religious point of view, but we as a Muslim, we cannot take these things because we don't believe it, as Islam prohibits from this concept. We cannot take these things. So now we will proceed next that how this philosophical foundation of curriculum helps the curriculum designer for developing the curriculum. The philosophy provides educators, especially the curriculum designers or workers, with a framework or frameworks for organizing schools and classrooms, because philosophy provides the basics for them for deciding which textbooks to be used or how to use them or how much homework to be assigned to the students or how to measure the performance of the students and how the results will be used and what courses or subject matters need to be more emphasized. So this way the philosophical foundation provides a beginning point in curriculum decision making process, and thus this becomes a basis for all subsequent decisions. Philosophy becomes a criteria for determining the aims, means and ends of the curriculum. So now we will discuss the major philosophies. You can see here there are four major types of educational philosophies. You have read, you have studied in your previous subject, foundations of education. So here again we are recalling them. The first one is the perennialism. You can see here the concept of, in a visual form, the perennialism, which was based on the subject matters. It was based on the philosophies of Plato and Aristotle, idealism and realism, which was concerned with the subject matter, where the teachers are more important, where the subject matter is more important, where the rote memorization was more important. So what is perennialism? It is the educational philosophy that stands for idealism and realism. Perennialists believe that the focus of education should be on the ideas that have lasted over centuries, because idealism is based on the ideas. This philosophy believes that ideas are real. This philosophy focuses on the everlasting ideas and universal truths, as we discussed in the ontological branch of philosophy. So, perennialism suggests that the focus of education should be the ideas that have lasted for centuries, believing that the ideas are relevant and meaningful today as when they were written. They recommended that students learn from reading and analyzing the works by history's finest thinkers and writers. So this philosophy uh, more focus more focuses on the subject matter or the ideas which were the part of the previous centuries, because according to this philosophy, ideas are same over the centuries. They have same meaning as they were written in the past. So what is the aim of education? Near perennialist, the ideas or concept that have stayed true over time, as we discussed before, that the ideas written in the previous century, or the great work of the great thinkers or the writers, is more worthwhile, and it has a true meaning even in the 21st century, and showed that students acquire understanding about the great ideas of Western civilization. Here the ideas of Western civilizations, their ideas, their written work is considered more important. The role of the school. What is the role of school near the perennialist? The role of the school is the mental or intellectual training of the students, where the students sit on the chairs and later listen to the teachers who decide what to teach and how to teach. And these type of schools are basically teacher centered, and the subject based knowledge is considered more important, because these promotes the ideas of the ancient or Western civilization or the great works of the great thinkers at that time. Then what type of teaching methods this philosophy promotes? This philosophy promotes, obviously, if the philosophy is based on the teacher, or philosophy is teacher based, then what will be the method? Teacher use first hand documents to teach. Teachers use lecture style, lecture method, and they are not concerned with the individual needs or the student interest and experiences. So here the teacher is considered the authority in the classroom, and the student should be the passive one. They should be obedient to the teacher, because teachers knows everything. He knows what is good and what is bad for the students. So he is only the authority who can decide the subject matter or the content to be studied, and the student should be rote memorizer who can have mastery over the subject that teacher is teaching to them. The next is the character development procedure for this philosophy. The aim of this philosophy is the development of intellectual and moral qualities of the learners or the students, because the perennialist believes that students are rational beings and their minds need to be developed, because here the mental training is important. That's why they perceive that the human beings can provide the rational for the things, and here is a need to develop their minds. They believe that learning the classics will lead to a successful adult life, that if they study the work of classics of the Western civilization, then the learners are more to be successful in their adult life. This is the basic philosophy or the character development of the students, or the method through which this philosophy emphasizes on the character development of the student. The first one is the intellectual or moral qualities, or the intellectual training or the transmission of moral qualities. Then the need of the development of the adult students' minds, and the promotion of the classic works for the better or successful adulthood life. Then the what should be the perennialist curriculum? Here you can say that the perennialist curriculum is subject centered. It relies heavily on defined disciplines or logically organized bodies of content, because here the emphasis on the subject matter and on the content to be studied, and the rote memorization. So what type of subjects this philosophy emphasized? It relies heavily on defined discipline. There is predetermined discipline which are logically organized body of content. You have memorized the concept I have given in the previous lecture, the vertical curriculum, in which the content proceed from easy to complex level, class 1 to 2, 3 and onward. Likewise, the concept of easy things and the complex things. The first thing, the student will memorize one, two, or alphabets. The next, he will be able to understand the things, or he or she can make the words or the process of calculation. So here the disciplines are predetermined, and the more focus is on the language, literature, mathematics, and sciences. Here is the one curriculum for all students. This philosophy focuses on the same learning or the common learning for all the students, and there is little room for elective subjects or vocational or technical subject matter. So here is no option for the student to select the elective subjects or any vocational or technical subject matter they perceived them for themselves as more suitable, but the predetermined courses or disciplined are maintained here. The next philosophy we will proceed is the essentialism philosophy. So we will see what is essentialism. You can see the word essential means the fundamental, the essential knowledge which is necessary to be transmitted to the students. Essentialism asserts that certain basic ideas, skills, and body of knowledge are essential to human culture and civilization. It means the basic ideas or essential or fundamental knowledge should be transmitted to the next generation. It may include the cultural values and the civilization or knowledge about the basic skills or ideas, because here the ideas are considered more important. Is this philosophy is also like the perennialism philosophy, but here is a little bit difference, because this philosophy also consider the present and future considerations of the students. Otherwise these both philosophies can be similar to each other. Essentialism is also known as basic education, the essential education which is considered very important for the learners. A curriculum that takes students' interest or social issues into account is regarded as wasteful. Here, there is no consideration of student interest, and social issues are not considered worthwhile, but they are regarded as wasteful. So, this philosophy is based on the essential knowledge and the essential skills and the ideas and the human culture and civilization, but it does not consider the students' interests, learning styles, or social issues, because it is considered the wasteful. So, what is the role of students here? The students should learn from fundamentals of knowledge. Example given: basic theory and basic subject. We have discussed before what were the subjects. Students should learn sensible and wise subjects, because as we discussed that there are predetermined bodies of knowledge or disciplines of knowledge or the subjects. Here you can again see the example that the student should learn the wise subject. Wise means the philosophy, the pursue of the knowledge, pursue of the skills, pursue for the eternal truth. So that's why the philosophy is here. This is considered the wise subject. So students should learn sensible and wise subjects such as philosophy, science, and other subjects related to the great books, like great books of great writers and philosophers and thinkers. So here again the emphasis on teachers' authority in the classroom, where the students are considered passive in the classroom, and students have to rote memorization the have to rote memorize the basic things the teacher have decided for them. The next philosophy is progressivism. This philosophy is opposite to the previous philosophy we discussed before. The progressive philosophy is based on the individuality. Progress and change are fundamental students' education, because this philosophy is based on the concept of change. This philosophy based this philosophy focus on the whole child, the all around development of the learner. This education, the philosophy, according to this philosophy, the education should be the process of ongoing growth of the learner, and it should provide the place for students to actively learn, solve problems, and participate in hand-on activities, because this philosophy is based on the John Davies philosophy, who believes that students are uh, great reflective students, and they are more creative, they are more efficient, so they should be engaged in such type of hand-on activities or learning experiences, so they can solve the problems, so they can utilize their learning experiences or the prior knowledge for the solving of problems. So here the change is here, the fundamental knowledge is not considered as predetermined like the previous philosophies were discussed, but here the whole child is more important. Their needs, their learning styles are considered more important, and the more emphasis on the change. Students are active learners who test ideas by experimentation philosophy, because this philosophy believes that students are active learners who test ideas by experimentation. It means that when the students are engaged in such type of experimentation, then they play an important role for solving the problems. Therefore, the curriculum should focus on the learner's need, interest, their experiences, and ability of the learner. This philosophy believes that students do not come to the school with blank slates, as John Locke stated, but this philosophy is based on the notion that students who come in the school, they already have too many experiences or the prior experiences which provide the basis for the new knowledge, or they can fit in the new knowledge or the new experiences of the learner. So teachers should plan lessons that provoke curiosity among the learners. So here the role of the teacher is to plan those activities that provoke curiosity among the students, and they can be a good problem solver. So what will be the learning style of the teacher here? Here you can see the scientific method is considered more important. So firstly, what will the teacher will do? He will ask a question and the students will conduct a research. They will formulate the hypothesis for testing their research or to solve their research question. The hypothesis will be tested with an experiment, and then they will analyze their result. While at the stage of analyzing the result, they can see that their hypothesis, which was formed before, can be true or can be false. If the hypothesis is true, then the child is proceed to the next level, that is the reporting of results. But if the hypothesis formulated by the children or the learner is false, then what will he do? He will think about it again and try again, that where was the problem, what was the weakness, where was the flaw. So this way he is becoming the problem solver, because he is engaging himself or herself in an purposeful activity through using a scientific method. The next philosophy is here, the Reconstructionism. So what is Reconstructionism? The Reconstructionism philosophy is based on the social reform and reconstruction of society. Here you can see the main focus of the Reconstructionism is the social reform and the reconstruction of the society. This philosophy believes that the curriculum must be transformed in keeping with the new social, economic, political education. It means that the curriculum should consider the sociological or economical or political issues of the society. Here the society is considered more important. You can see in the previous philosophy of perennialism and essentialism, the society is not the societal issues are not considered important, but here you can see the society is considered, or the societal values are considered more valuable. Society is always changing, and the curriculum has to change. Here you again can, because there is a reconstruction, it means that there is an option of change because the society is always changing. That's why the curriculum should also be changed with the passage of time, or by keeping in view the societal needs. A curriculum based on social issues and services is ideal. It means that the social issues are more worthwhile, they should be included in the curriculum. What are the problems or what are the needs of the society, they should also be considered while in the process of curriculum construction. So these all philosophies provide an overview or the base point for the curriculum developers to design an effective curriculum for any grade level. If he is concerned with the previous or essentialist knowledge, then he will develop such a curriculum which will be more focused on the basic skills or predetermined knowledge or the subject matter. But if the curriculum developer is influenced by the progressive or reconstructionist philosophy, then he will try to include more activities, more hand-on experiences for the learners. So if he's focusing on the reconstructionism, then he will also keep in mind the social need, the societal needs of the that particular society or the community. So these were the four basic philosophy we discussed here, which are very essential or fundamental while the curriculum developer is going to design a curriculum for any uh, grade or level, because as we discussed that these philosophy provide the criteria for determining the aims, means and ends of the curriculum. So here the educational institution can also determine what type of philosophy they will follow in the future, because the educational philosophy or the philosophy of the institution also plays an important role, because they have to develop or construct the curriculum for their institution, because every institution has its own philosophy which is reflected in the curriculum uh, of their institution. You can see the curriculum of different institution based on different philosophy. If there is an institution of Christians, then they will promote the philosophy of Christianity, and if there is an institution of Muslims, then they will promote the Muslim values, Muslim traditions, or Muslims philosophy. So every institution has its own philosophy which is reflected or depicted through curriculum, and as a result or as a product in form of students. So we have discussed the one foundation of curriculum here. Inshallah, we will discuss about the second foundation of curriculum in the next lecture. So I'm really hopeful that you will study this and you will listen this, and if you feel any type of query or any question in your mind, then you may ask. Thank you very much.